Aliens is generally regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, and if you don't own a copy by now, you really should. You might even be tempted to buy it through Apple TV, and you're perfectly free to do so, but only after being subjected to some minor political re-education. Because it turns out, at least according to Apple, this film has outdated attitudes, language, and cultural depictions, which may cause offence today. So it seems that despite nearly 4 decades of critical acclaim and vast commercial success, Apple think that Aliens is flawed in some way. They think there's something wrong with it. And if you happen to like Aliens the way it is, then, by implication, I guess there must be something wrong with you as well. To which my instinctive reaction was to say, Aliens was perfect in 1986. It is still perfect today, and if anything about it offends you, then by all means, grab yourself an oat milk latte, curl up on the sofa, and rewatch Barbie for the 78th time instead. But once I'd regained my composure, I started to think, hang on a minute. I'm genuinely not sure what it is about Aliens this warning is even referring to. Let's take a moment to review the plot to what I can only assume must be 132 minutes of racist and misogynistic hate speech, shall we? Aliens begins with a commercial salvage crew recovering the lifeboat Ripley used to escape the doomed Nostromo at the end of the first film. As you may have noticed, Ellen Ripley is, even today, by most definitions, a woman. And not just any woman. She's the sole survivor of the Nostromo, having made her daring escape after her male crewmates were picked off one by the alien. Except for Jonesy, of course. Aww. Not long after, we learn Ripley's employers, the duplicitous Weyland-Yutani Corporation, have lost contact with their colony on LV-426, the enigmatic moon where the Nostromo picked up their uninvited guest. Ripley joins a team of space marines heading back there to find out what's happened. The Marines are led by African-American Master Sergeant Apone, and their numbers include Private Vasquez, who fights on the front lines right alongside her male comrades, even taking point when the Marines enter the seemingly abandoned colony. But their mission is under the command of Lieutenant Scott Gorman, whose inexperience combined with a certain arrogance gets most of the team killed in their first engagement with the aliens. You have to wonder how he landed this job. It's almost like he was privileged in some way. No, I have no idea. But either way, it's Ripley who has to take charge and rescue the surviving Marines from the meat grinder that Gorman led them into. The team also encounter a 9-year-old girl named Rebecca, better known as Newt, who is the last survivor of the stricken base. Let that sink in for a moment. Through cunning and resourcefulness, this little girl survived longer against the aliens than the grown men who were charged with defending the colony. But anyway, it soon turns out that the Marines were set up to fail from the beginning, because white 80s yuppie guy Carter Burke has betrayed them for money, as white 80s yuppie guys were wont to do in these films. Remember, this was the era of Reagan, Thatcher and Wall Street turbo-capitalism, and guys who look like this were public enemy number 1 amongst liberally minded film industry professionals. But eventually the aliens attack again, and although the Marines fight bravely, they're ultimately overrun, and Newt is abducted and seemingly doomed to be cocooned and impregnated like the other colonists. But Ripley is having none of that, so she loads up with guns and ammo and heads off on a solo mission to rescue Newt and generally save the day, like a lioness protecting her cub, which ultimately leads to her iconic final confrontation with the alien queen. Just in case I haven't already rammed my point home with all the subtlety of an over-under 30mm pump-action grenade launcher, it's not just that Aliens is not in any way racist, sexist, or any other ism or phobia you want to throw at it, but it is in fact the polar opposite of those things. And I don't understand how Apple's content reviewers have managed to miss the point so spectacularly, assuming of course that they bothered to watch it at all, and aren't just jumping on some bandwagon they found online. If I had to guess, and this is just a guess, I suspect what they have a bee in their bonnets about is the aforementioned Vasquez character. She was portrayed by actress Jeanette Goldstein, whose ancestry is a mixture of Russian, Moroccan and Brazilian. You might remember her as John Connor's foster mother Janelle in Terminator 2. So yes, they've applied some quite heavy makeup here to make her look more visibly Latin American, but I'd hardly say it qualifies as blackface or anything like that. She also has some rather spicy dialogue with her fellow Marines, like, "Hey Vasquez, have you ever been mistaken for a man?" "No? Have you?" And also, somebody said alien, she thought they said illegal alien, and signed up. As an interesting bit of trivia, that last one is derived from a real-life joke on set, because when Goldstein saw the title of the film, Aliens, and the casting call said it was filming here in the UK, but recruiting American actors, she really did assume it was a movie about immigrants, and it became a running gag. But yes, okay, those lines might not have been included had Aliens been made today. And the film would have been worse for it, not better. Remember, these people are soldiers, not social workers. The whole point of this verbal jousting is to put Vasquez on equal terms with her male team members. She gives as good as she gets, wields an M56A2 smart gun like a boss, and isn't a delicate snowflake who needs some internet keyboard warrior to feign offence on her behalf. The moral of the story is, first of all, watch Aliens. It's an absolutely brilliant film that has more than withstood the test of time and is just as entertaining now as it was in 1986. And secondly, buy physical media. Because for now, although the likes of Apple will tell you how problematic you are for enjoying classic films like this, ultimately they're still happy to take your bigot bucks for them and host them on their platform. But who knows how long that will last? It could only be a matter of time before they start taking down movies that don't pass their political purity test. Or, even worse, in my opinion, would be to start editing them to remove lines of dialogue or scenes they don't approve of. But no matter how much they might want to, they cannot censor the Blu-ray disc on my bookshelf. So grab yourself a copy while there's still time. But anyway, that's all I have time for today, so thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Psycho Anna criticism.